Next one is the motorcycle deck. You want to do this real
Well,
quick?
you know what? First, real quick though, you're hired. So if you can come to Hawaii, you got the job.
Right.
Thank you for your pitch deck.
Right.
It was perfect. Come over and shoot.
Yeah.
We're ready for you. So you got the job.
Right. Okay.
Let's jump into the motorcycles, and then we'll take some questions, guys, right after this.
Yeah.
I think this one is slightly shorter on that, but we'll go through. I mean, just as impactful. There's a few in here that absolutely stopped me as I was viewing them. So take it away, Larry. This is another moment. Can you actually, sorry to interrupt. Sorry, we're still getting used to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you explain a little bit of these slower shutter panning shots? Because they are incredible. They are detailed. Tell us your success to fail ratio on something like this and how you set up and how you do these things. Because I think there are a lot of fans out there that are very interested in something like this, because this is top notch. This is as good as it gets right here, folks.
So this shot has a pretty crazy story, but yeah, shutter or panning is just something that comes with practice. And I kind of always say it's kind of like your golf swing. You know, you just have to practice over and over, and you have to control to a degree. Sometimes you have to control your breathing. Sometimes you just have to control the way you hold the camera. There's just so much you have to do to track the subject. One of the tips that I have is keep your other eye open. You know, so if you're shooting and you're having kind of a problem with target acquisition in terms of like the subject entering the camera and leaving the camera, or at least trying to keep the frame right on the subject, keep your eyes open, and then that way you can kind of gauge if you need to be panning faster or slower than the subject. And sometimes, you know, that's kind of the thing, especially with racing. When they go through a corner, it's not the same speed from the beginning to the end. You know, potentially they could be accelerating out of it, or they could be braking into it. You have to constantly adjust. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people ask me why I don't shoot with mirrorless cameras yet. At this moment in time, mirrorless is just not as fast as the human eye. You know, right now, when I'm looking through the viewfinder on one of these 1D series bodies, I can micro adjust so much faster versus looking through a mirrorless camera. But, you know, eventually the technology is going to get there, but right now it's just not there yet.
Right.
But yeah, shutter speed, the best thing to do with shooting these kind of shots, start higher. Start at 100th of a second or 80th, and then move your way down. I don't know how fast this one was. It was pretty slow. I think about 60th to 50th of a second. But at this moment in time, the motorcycles are going so fast, like so fast through this corner, that it's just kind of hard to get a perfect pan on it. But there's just so many different elements in this photo. This photo I actually had to hide from the police, if you can imagine. I shot this at the Macau Grand Prix, and this where the location I was shooting from was unauthorized. And if the police caught me, then I would get in trouble. So basically, going from shooting location to shooting location, you're not actually allowed to stop. But guess what I did? I hide behind this bush that just happened to be right next to the track. And I was like, okay, I may only have 2-3 attempts at this before the police catch me. And what I did was I just got the settings right. I locked my focus because I didn't even want to give a chance to the photo actually coming out of focus. Jeez. So I kind of just guessed where the motorcycles would be in frame.
Damn.
Got the settings, and as soon as the motorcycles started coming, I just did my shots and I left. I just didn't even want to make that. I just didn't even want to have that problem, I guess. And somebody Chuck mentioned the X Games story, and that's a story for another time. But there's plenty of times where we actually have to hide from the authorities, and we actually have to sometimes run away because of the places that we shoot. I mean, you guys have to remember, this is Macau, okay? This is a communist country. It's like Hong Kong, but it's more part of China than anything else. So it's like something where we potentially don't want to get in trouble with the police.
Yeah, we won't see you again.
Yeah, exactly. Just like with the wave, you know, I'll just disappear after the wave comes up.
You know, with all of these images and you telling these stories, and you're really pushing the boundaries of what your camera capabilities, as well as this is just ridiculous, Larry. But you know, it's you know, you're pushing limits. How do you push yourself to go further? How do you keep pushing yourself to go and be the best automotive photographer in the world at the top of your game in such a competitive industry that everyone's doing? How do you push yourself to go further? Like, can you give us a little insight of what pushes you?
I think that the main thing is picture first, always. And you know, if I go to an event, people who follow me will kind of hear me say this time and time again, I don't have a good day until I get that first picture in the bag. But even further than that, is it even worth it for me to go out there until I get a good photo? You know, like I really push myself physically and mentally in every way possible when I'm shooting, because that's just, I've kind of gotten, I get that, I guess I get excited, and it fulfills me as a photographer, as a person. Absolutely. And I'm just so proud of what I'm capturing. You know, part of it also is that I love the cars. I'm not a big motorcycle guy, but I love them. You know, I love that the person on the bike is such a big shape of the bike, versus when you're shooting a car, the person's just in there, and if you see him, you see him. You see him, you don't see him, whatever. True. But with a motorcycle, it's a whole being that combined makes a motorcycle cool. You know, so for example, look at this shot. Like, look at that guy's stance. Like, the thing's about to probably fall over. But he's doing this crazy like sand burnout, right? But the point is that, I don't know, I just kind of always have to be, I'm always looking for that greater shot. You know, I just want to push car photography. I want to push car culture, automotive culture, motorcycle culture to the absolute limit of what these cameras can possibly do, you know? And that's why, as much as I like to promote shoot with everything, shoot with your cell phone, it's also nice to just kind of have that edge to stand out, you know? So that's also why, as soon as a new body comes out, as soon as some kind of new technology comes out, we wholeheartedly adopt it right away, because we just don't want to fall behind. But in that same time, I'm still shooting with my cell phone every single day when I see a cool car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, with that, you know, saying like you see a cool car, different. Can you tell us your favorite car you've ever photographed, and then could you also tell us the most challenging, just so we can kind of do that? I don't know if that's a weird question or a lame one to you, but it's like, to me, like, I love cars.
Yeah.
And you saying like you must see it all. So like, tell us what your favorite car you ever photographed and the most challenging one you've had.
Yeah, that's really tough to say. You know, favorite car, it's basically impossible for me. That's why every image that I see, I'm like, oh, that's my favorite image. Oh, that's my, you know, I just can't. I mean, because what does it mean to be passionate about something? You know, like for example, with surfing, why do you keep shooting surfing? What, like, people are gonna say the lamest thing. I'm sure people say, I mean, waves potentially could look the same. Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, like,
you know, and honestly, like it when you were just talking there, how excited it makes you feel. What pushes me to keep going, to push, to go forward and go further is really I get nervous still swimming out to Pipeline. I'm still excited to go swim out there to create. Pipeline is one of the most photographed waves. They call it Kodak Reef for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's shooting it. There's 30 guys in the water, 60 guys on land. Every single day it's breaking. So with that, like, why am I excited to keep going out there? And like you said, it's like to be able to create, to see these new visions, to challenge myself, and to be out there. I mean, that's what makes me happy and excited. I think with anyone out there that's listening, whatever you're photographing, you have those feelings. That's why you're up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the cold, you know, in the rain, to be able to capture these moments.
Anyways, I'm just going through some of these shots. So for example, like this shot is during an actual race. Just like you were saying earlier, you can't just tell them to stop. You know, hey, just stop and pose for me. No, this guy's literally going over 100 at this moment in time, and I'm just snapping away.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, I can't help but look at the questions, but guys, keep the questions going because I'm definitely gonna try to go through. We're
about to jump into the questions real shortly here, so keep the questions coming. And John's gonna come join us again, give us some more technical aspect, and we'll go through that real shortly.
So this one is I just kind of wanted to put a couple images together that kind of give me the same, I guess, feeling. It's the second photo is of Rennie Skaesbrook. He's a legendary motorcycle rider, and he's in this moment when I captured it, he broke the overall record at Pikes Peak, and this was probably like 1 minute, less than a minute after it happened. He just took off his helmet, and it just got so emotional for him. He broke the record, and then I mean, he broke his personal record, and he broke the overall record. But the crazy thing is, not maybe like 15 seconds after I shot this photo, he found out that one of his best friends passed away or crashed after him. He went right after him, and his friend was actually going to re-break the record, you know, a minute after him. But it's just the craziest, these crazy moments that, hey, unfortunately, racing is really dangerous, you know, and a lot of these times I just have to shoot during these tough times, and I just kind of have to focus and keep shooting. And the photo on the right is another shot that during actual race. And to answer your question, Jacob, yeah, that is Pikes Peak. Yeah, so with motorcycles, so much about shooting static without the people, and also during racing with people, you know, it's challenging and it's so much fun for me. This is Chris Fillmore, probably one of the best motorcycle racers in the world. And this is just him doing a warm-up lap in the morning before sunrise during like purple hour. And behind him is the city of Colorado Springs. And I shot this this is 13,000 or so feet above sea level. But it's one of my favorite shots from last year. Probably one of my favorite shots all time from Pikes Peak, just because it's just so simple. It's like not even during practice or race. It's just him warming up, and he's still kind of going pretty fast, but it's just the colors and something that's kind of abnormal. Like you would never see something like this. It's just so dreamlike, you know. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. This was a moment during the filming of the Doonies series, which is a series that Monster Energy actually kind of put together of all their athletes. And this was just a quiet moment of all of these guys deciding what the next trick they're going to do is, or what the next hill they're going to hit up is. And sorry, this thing keeps turning off. They're basically, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're basically kind of looking over and spotting what's the next hill they're going to do. And they just kind of all dug in, and they're just all waiting on, you know, seeing what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the
I'm running
special
out of
moments.
questions. Does Lewis call you dad? Lewis is here actually, so he should say hi on camera real quick. Say hi, Lewis. He's just looking at me like, no. What are you saying? You had a question?
No. You know, those are those special moments.
Yeah.
Those ones is they're like waiting, and they're just kind of having that little moment to themselves, and being able to capture that, and you can actually feel it. Yeah. You know what I mean? They have that day like finish, you know what I mean? Or it's the start of the day, or how it is, but it's that little quiet moment before those next tricks, before those things. So I love that last shot was epic.
Oh, the last shot here, the bottom right, I actually shot from a helicopter. It was at the Baja 1000 race. And these are kind of just the moments that I mean, that's when you really have to use the frames per second and just everything, all of your experience comes into play to capturing things like that. Even to the point of me having a very good communication with the pilot. You know, I'm like, hey, can you please just bank so I can get almost like a head on, like a top down shot of this motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
And they just kind of have to set up for it, you know, because when I'm in the air, I'm doing so many things. I'm making sure that we're not crashing because, man, in Mexico, it's the Wild West. There's drones we have to avoid. There's power lines. There's anything and everything, birds, whatever. While we're racing, other helicopters too, by the way. We just have to like watch out for things. And then in between me watching out, making sure I'm not dying, then I'm actually going down and I'm actually photographing the race. So it's like a battle with trying to stay alive, air sickness, and also shooting. It's like the craziest. So yeah.
Wow. Great stuff, Larry. This is
So I'm
inspiring.
I think you're probably the same way. I'm the biggest rule breaker in terms of like shooting into the sun.
Absolutely.
A lot of traditional photographers and a lot of traditional photography teachers will probably hate me for saying this, or just, I don't know, you got to break rules. You got to shoot into the sun. And with a dynamic range of the cameras now, they're so good. You know, and sometimes you could use the fact that it's lacking dynamic range to your advantage. For example, with this, it's more of a silhouette shot.
Jeez.
So like this one,
that just doesn't look real.
This one it's like surfing. It's like sand surfing, right?
Yeah.
So this one, it's just a same thing. One of those moments where you're conveying speed and you're conveying action by freezing it instead of panning, instead of shooting slower shutter, you know?
And that comes with experience.
Yeah.
You knowing exactly in those moments. I mean, you've obviously set up for this photo, you have your settings right and everything, but absolutely. I mean, that comes with experience, guys. This doesn't come overnight, but this comes with you getting to know your gear, getting to know your subjects, everything like that. My dad always tells me when I get a new piece of equipment, take it out, get comfortable with it, shoot it at home, take it to the coffee shop, wherever you go. Because if you only wait for this guy coming down at 50 miles per hour down the sand dune to try to pull it out and work with it, there's no way. You could get lucky, but there is probably no way you get anything even remotely close to this type of thing. As opposed to you getting it, learning it, knowing it, that's how you can get something like this of what Larry's showing us. So absolutely. And but that goes to any type of photography.
Yeah, and
any type.
For example, with this, it kind of goes back to the whole decisive moment thing. You know, like how many frames do you think I got that's similar to this? You know, even shooting at max burst, I maybe have 3 photos where the sand hasn't like come up and washed over him. The reason why I like this photo in particular is because you could see the top of his torso is just barely sticking out over the sand.
Right.
But in real time, this moment was just a fraction of a second, you know, and that's why I'm machine gunning all the time, because I don't want to, oh, look, we got a birthday party going on here.
Yeah, hey guys. Sorry, I'm just adjusting something.
I just don't want to leave it to chance, you know. I want to do whatever I can. But yeah, the sand does look delicious, Matthew. I'm glad, Jacob, I can inspire you to shoot. We love shooting video. We love kind of telling our story of how we're shooting. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of fun to kind of tell the story of how we're getting these photos too. Yeah. Oh, so Devin has a really good point. He says, can we do some web episodes where we swap places? We're way ahead of you, Devin. We're way ahead of you. We would love that. I can't.
Season 2.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to have Zach on an autofocus episode. I can't wait for him to shoot cars. I think that'll be a lot of fun. But I also can't wait to shoot surfing. I'll tell you right now, I have my own pool, but even last night when I was swimming, I'm like the worst. I'm like, you know, you don't want to see me swim. I'm like the absolute worst. I know you. Do you have your own set of fins? Like you have your own brand of fins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I have my own signature brand of fins,
Guys.
but we're gonna get you all kitted, Larry.
No.
You're gonna
Guys,
be ready, and we're gonna just practice.
How am I even gonna compete against a man who has his own brand of fins? Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. I love it.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Between Sets. Make sure to like and subscribe to be tuned in on all future episodes. Thank you.